Good morning to all. So we were discussing about the transcription in eukaryotic organism. In our previous lecture, we had discussed about initiation process. That is how pre-initiation complex formation takes place with the assembly of general transcriptional factors along with RNA polymerase at the core promoter. And we have seen how the open complex formation takes place. Today we are going to discuss about elongation process. Elongation requires the release of RNA polymerase from the initiation complex. It's a highly processive mechanism. Certain dissociation factors are needed at the end of initiation that release RNA polymerase and move that towards the downstream position. TF2D and TF2A that remains to stay at the promoter after the RNA polymerase, and other factor leave the initiation complex. Whereas TF2H, as we have discussed during the initiation, it is having the helicase activity, so it will move ahead to your RNA polymerase enzyme, carry out the unwinding of DNA molecule and help to continue the RNA synthesis. This TF2H having two functions. One, as we have seen, it is having helicase activity, and second, it is having the kinase activity. With the helicase activity of this TF2H, it unwinds the DNA molecule using ATP as a source of energy and allowing transcription to continue. In addition to that, it has also kinase activity, which play a significant role into the phosphorylation of CTD terminal of RNA polymerase II, which cause the conformational changes into the structure of RNA polymerase and allow RNA polymerase to dissociate from the initiation complex and enter into the elongation. So students, keep in mind, TF2H phosphorylates CTD terminal of RNA polymerase II, and this step occurs at the end of initiation, and it will act as a transition from initiation to elongation step. Now you may have a question that what is this CTD terminal of RNA polymerase II? So let's see what is that. This is the structure of RNA polymerase II. These RNA polymerase having a terminal that is known as a carboxy terminal domain. It is a tail-like structure that is known as a CTD. If we see the detailed structure of CTD, it consisting of repeating units of 7 different amino acids. The sequence is tyrosine, serine, proline, threonine, serine, proline and serine. This repetitive sequence of 7 different amino acids for multiple times that form a tail-like structure into the RNA polymerase II, that is known as a carboxy terminal domain, which is a heptapeptide terminal known as a CTD. So, this CTD of the RNA polymerase II largest subunit consisting of multiple heptadipids with the sequence of threonine, serine, tyrosine, serine, proline, threonine, serine, proline and serine with the number from 26 to 52. This help for the process. This CTD functions into the release of RNA polymerase from the promoter side from the pre-initiation complex. It also play a significant role into the elongation process of transcription and also play a role into the processing of nascent RNA molecule. We will see the role of each and every one by one. Concentrate again over here. This 2 serine at second position and fifth position play a significant role. These 2 serine get phosphorylated during the early phase of elongation process. So as we have discussed over here, that is a phosphorylation of CTD terminal of RNA polymerase 2 by TF2H. And this phosphorylation by TF2H occurs at the fifth position of serine. The fifth amino acid serine is phosphorylated by TF2H. So this phosphorylation, let's see how this occurs. Phosphorylation is a key process that occurs into the long C-terminal tail, which is also known as the CTD of RNA polymerase 2 molecule. Student, it is very interesting that when RNA polymerase 2, the CTD tail is non-phosphorylated, it play a role into the initiation. But when the RNA polymerase 2, the CTD tail get phosphorylated, it enters into the elongation stage. And the first phosphorylation of the CTD tail occur at the fifth serine, and which is carried out by transcriptional factor 2H. So let's see that serine at second and fifth position regulate the elongation process by the phosphorylation. This plays a significant role whether the elongation will continue or elongation will immaturely inhibited. So let's see how the process is going on. Apart from this phosphorylation, there are other factors. They also play a role into the regulation of elongation. So let's see how the regulation of elongation takes place. The first thing of the transition from initiation to elongation is phosphorylation of CTD at serine 5 during the last phase of initiation. And this phosphorylation is carried out by the kinase activity of transcriptional factor 2H. The other phosphorylation is CTD phosphorylation at serine 2 during elongation process, that is carried out by kinase activity of one of the subunit of positive transcriptional elongation factor B, which is designated as PTEFB. So two phosphorylation of CTD tail, one phosphorylation at serine 5 by TF2H at the last stage of initiation, and this phosphorylation facilitate the RNA polymerase to move from the core promoter and transition to the elongation stage. And second phosphorylation of the CTD at the serine 2 position, which carried out during elongation, and this is carried out by positive transcriptional elongation factor B. Let's see how this is carried out. Before we study the structure of PEF, P transcriptional elongation factor B, let's see about the one more factor which play a significant role to regulate the mechanism of elongation, that is known as a DSIF, that is DRB sensitivity inducing factor. This factor having a very crucial role to regulate the mechanism of elongation, which can either positively or negatively affect the process of transcription. This factor DSIF, when it interact with the another factor which is negative elongation factor, it promote the stalling of RNA polymerase 2 and inhibit the process of elongation. Students, for the elongation to carried out, it is required that RNA polymerase move through the template from upstream to the downstream region. It read the template and carried out synthesis of RNA molecule. Now this DSIF along with NELF means DRB sensitivity inducing factor, when it interact with the negative elongation factor, these two molecules does not allow the movement of RNA polymerase further, and this is the way they inhibit the process of transcription. If you see the structure of this DSIF having two subunits, HSPT4 and HSPT5. It locks RNA polymerase clamp in a closed state to prevent dissociation of elongation complex, and HSPT5 carried out the re-annealing of DNA back to upstream. So these are the two which are the positive effect of this DSIF. When this positive effect is carried out, where the DSIF is not connected with the NELF. And for that, the phosphorylation of DSIF is required. At this particular stage, students who concentrate that this DSIF having positive effect as well as negative effect. It can either positively or negatively affect the transcriptional. In a negative effect, it binds to NELF and does not allow the further movement of RNA polymerase II, and this is the way it inhibits the process of transcriptional elongation. But in case of positive effect, this is carried out by two its subunits, that is HSPT4 and HSPT5. It locked the RNA polymerase clamp in a closed state so that RNA polymerase does not dissociate from the template and elongation process can continue. And one subunit, that is HSPT5, it is involved into the re-annealing of DNA strand at the upstream site. Now this positive elongation, transcriptional elongation factor B, this is very important, which carried out the phosphorylation activity and positively affect the process of elongation, means it allow elongation to continue. So in other sense, we can say that this PTEFB inhibit the negative effect by DSIF and NELF complex. This factor consisting of various subunits, among that one subunit is CDK9, and this CDK9 kinase subunit phosphorylates CTD at serine 2. In the previous slide we have seen that the CTD get phosphorylated at two positions. One is serine 5 and second is serine 2. At serine 5, the phosphorylation is carried out by activity of kinase activity of transcription factor TF2H, whereas at serine 2 position the phosphorylation occur by the activity of CDK9, that is one subunit of positive transcriptional elongation factor B. This factor also phosphorylates DSIF. When the DSIF is phosphorylated by this factor, it cannot bind to negative elongation factor, and this way it prevents the negative regulation. So this positive factor play a significant role to control the negative regulation of the transcriptional by phosphorylation of DSIF. You can see over here RNA polymerase II along with CTD into the pre-initiation complex. When the promoter clearance takes place, means when the pre-initiation complex assembly starts its movement from promoter towards the RNA coding region, the first phosphorylation occurs by transcriptional factor 2H at serine 5 position. Phosphorylation of CTD at serine 5 position. Into the next stage, positive transcriptional elongation factor. One of its subunit is CDK9, and this CDK9 carried out two phosphorylation. Number one, phosphorylation of serine 2 of the CTD, and second, you can see over here that DSIF and NELF, they both combine and they pause the movement, pause the further movement of RNA polymerase. But this positive transcriptional elongation factor carry out the phosphorylation of DSIF. So DSIF, when it is phosphorylated, it does not no longer bind with the negative elongation factor, and this is the way how the productive positive elongation mechanism is continued. And other thing, it also plays some significant role, this factors play also some significant role into the 5' capping. This 5' capping is one of the mechanism of RNA processing which occurs into eukaryotic organisms. This capping, how it takes place, we will discuss during the lecture of RNA processing, that is also called post-transcriptional modification. But at this particular stage, you understand three important factors, NELF and DSIF. When these two are non-phosphorylated, they have negative effect and does not allow the further movement of RNA polymerase II, and this is the way they stop the process of elongation. But when this DSIF get phosphorylated by positive transcriptional elongation factor B, this phosphorylated help to lock the RNA polymerase at the transcript and positively productively elongation process is carried out. The last factor which is involved into the elongation, which is the TF2S. This TF2S help RNA polymerase to bypass the blocks during the mechanism of transcription. You can see over here, this is the way along with all the factors RNA polymerase continue. It is moving from upstream to downstream position. At the downstream position, unwinding of DNA is carried out, templates are separated, and by reading the template, synthesis of RNA nucleotide is carried out. At the back side, rewinding of DNA is carried out with the activity of HSPT5, which is one component of DSIF. RNA polymerase start move along with the DNA template and it synthesizes the RNA, and this process called elongation. The RNA synthesis occurs in 5' to 3' direction. The RNA molecule which is synthesized by this mechanism from the protein coding gene, which is called primary transcript, or it is also known as a pre-messenger RNA molecule in case of eukaryotic organism. Its processing will be carried out, and after processing, mature messenger RNA will get generated, and which will be further proceed through translation, protein synthesis is carried out. So this is the way how elongation is carried out. This is the end of elongation of transcription mechanism in eukaryotic organisms. We will discuss the mechanism of termination in our next lecture. Thank you all of you.